I don't know how to pick a Keynote sausage.
Good afternoon, folks. We'll start in a few minutes. A couple of housekeeping as we do this. This building is the Minnesota Nurses, and they borrowed us this building for this event, so thank you to M&A. But if you need to use restrooms, it's down towards the right, and there's a couple of restrooms down there. We'll be starting this real quick. We got a bit delayed because we were trying to make sure that you have the most fresh and the juiciest momos.
Oh, that's right!
Right? So like, a little delay for the momos is all right. So we'll start in a few, please. Please interact and talk to yourself, you know.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wayne Nguyen, and I'm a certified ophthalmic medical technologist at Health Partners. I'm a member of the API caucus and Unions for All digital network.
And my name is C. I'm a certified medical assistant at Health Partners. I'm also a member of the API caucus.
Thank you, everyone, for coming together to celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month with us. It's great to see so many familiar faces and to make new friends. This celebration would not be possible without our local support, volunteers, elected officials, and each one of you who came today to spend this gorgeous Saturday afternoon with us.
The SEIU Asian Pacific Islander Caucus aims to collaborate with community organizations to address social, economic, housing, working conditions, climate, and health, and other issues of concern to the API community. We also aim to identify and develop community activists and leaders within the labor movement in the community.
At this time, we would like to introduce our president, Jamie Gully. He's the Jamie Gully, president of SEIU Healthcare Minnesota and Iowa, started as an organizer in 2002 and was elected president in 2012. Jamie has led some of the most important victories at SEIU Healthcare Minnesota, including organizing campaigns that brought in more than 30,000 new hospital, nursing home, and home care workers, tripling the size of our union and leading negotiations for a $15 minimum wage in all Twin Cities hospitals and clinics. And Jamie has been one of the strongest allies of our API caucus.
Thank you so much. Can we give a big round of applause to all of the API caucus leaders in SEIU Healthcare Minnesota? So thank you for such a great event today, for the great food. Can we give a round of applause for all of the cooks and the chefs, food preparers? Can't have a great event with the union without great food, and this is one of our favorite events of the year with the great food. So we have a lot of folks in the room I want to make sure that we recognize. We have two other officers in SEIU. We work as a team in SEIU, and so I want to recognize Rasha Ahmad Sharif, an Executive Vice President, and Jimei Ungen over there, my brother, the longest-serving officer for SEIU Healthcare Minnesota and Iowa. We are so honored to be the oldest union of healthcare workers in the United States. So as many of you know our story, 90 years ago there was a general strike, the Teamster strike in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis. And following that strike, Congress passed a law that created a right to form a union for many workers in this country. Many workers that look like me, white workers in manufacturing and in other areas, but healthcare workers were left out of the law. But here in the Twin Cities, something special happened. At Abbott Northwestern hospitals, at Swedish and St. Barnabas, workers went on strike for union recognition, and we won. And that fight first union recognition we won, and that fight was for labor rights, but also against discrimination by race and gender, because we know that all of the jobs that were primarily done by women were left out of the law. Agricultural workers, healthcare workers, domestic workers. And we are so proud that home care workers just 10 years ago, because of our legislature and our Governor Dayton at the time, were able to also win the right to form a union after many years too. So our union continues to fight forward for labor rights and against discrimination, and we are so honored to be here with all of you today. I want to make sure that we also recognize here, we have a lot of elected leaders in the room, so if we could have elected leaders stand up to be recognized here in the room. I know we'll have some opportunities for that later on, but we have quite a few here in the room, so please stand and be recognized. And we have a lot of labor leaders in the room too. I want to recognize the executive board members of SEIU Healthcare Minnesota as well, so Carmen and some of the other leaders that are elected in our union. Come on, stand up. Francis. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day today. This is our event for API Heritage Month, so I'm going to turn it back over to our hosts. So back to you.
So we will be starting off the event with the Watana dance troupe, who are dedicated to preserving Cambodian folk and classical dance style, connecting Cambodian American with their ancestral roots through captivating performances and community engagement. And will be presenting Rambam Ju for Dance of Blessing to greet, bless, and offer good wishes to the audience.
dance troupe. Now, the president of AFL-CIO Minnesota. Bernie Burnham's election is history-making for the state's labor movement. As a Pacific Islander, she is the first person of color to lead Minnesota's AFL-CIO. Prior to this role, Bernie was a Pacific Islander educator who started as an elementary school teacher in the Duluth Public School District. She became heavily involved in labor management process and eventually was elected president of the Duluth Federation Teachers. Bernie Burnham. Woo!
See, how about a hand for those dancers again? That was good. Well, good afternoon and happy AAPI month. As you heard, I'm the president of the Minnesota AFL-CIO. We are the federation of 1,000 plus locals and over 300,000 members strong. I'm proud of my Pacific Islander heritage and I'm happy to be with you today. Our Minnesota AFL-CIO's mission is to improve the lives of working people, retirees, and our families, to bring economic and social justice to our workplaces, communities, state, and nation, while striving to eliminate all forms and systems of oppression. To that note, after the death of George Floyd, our Racial and Economic Justice Committee was formed as a way to fulfill the third goal of our strategic plan, which is our commitment to equity and diversity while working to dismantle oppression in our movement and in our state. The committee is made up of volunteers from various affiliates and is co-chaired by Octavio Bustamante from Liuna and Monica Byron from Education Minnesota. Since September of 2020, we have met monthly, working towards educating one another and members of our affiliates on racial and economic justice. For the last year, the group has been traveling the state to have conversations around the committee's resolution on safe communities. To date, we have held 4 events. One was canceled due to snow not too very long ago, and we have one more scheduled for later this year. As you know, people are at different places in their journey. But for every conversation we've had, we bring one more member into the fold of racial justice. This is a committee I would invite you to join if you have a passion for racial justice. Reach out through Jamie if you're interested. Our AFL-CIO recognizes a number of constituency groups. The AFL-CIO is a diverse and inclusive family of working people. We advocate for all workers. Constituency groups address the challenges that workers from diverse backgrounds face. These groups reach out to the communities they serve, build solidarity, help with organizing efforts, and ensure full participation in our movement. So the groups include the A. Philip Randolph Institute. They are an alliance between labor and the civil rights movement. Today, it fights for racial equality and economic justice. The Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. CBTU is an independent voice for Black workers within the labor movement. The Coalition of Labor Union Women. CLUE unifies union women to face shared concerns. The Labor Council for Latin American Advancement. Black Club represents 2 million Latino workers. Pride at Work brings together the labor movement and the LGBTQ plus community in pursuit of social and economic justice. The Union Veterans Council. The council brings together workers who are veterans and speaks out on issues that affect them most. And last, but not least, our Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, APALA. It is the first and only national organization of Asian American and Pacific Islander workers, most of who are union members, and are allies advancing worker, immigrant, and civil rights. Since its founding, APALA has played a unique role in addressing the workplace issues of the 660,000 AAPI union members and in serving as the bridge between the broader labor movement and the AAPI community. Backed with strong support of the AFL-CIO, APALA has more than 20 chapters and pre-chapters and a national office in Washington, D.C. APALA is dedicated to promoting political education and voter registration, programs among AAPIs, and to the training, empowerment, and leadership of AAPIs within the labor movement and the community. Furthermore, Apollo works to defend and advocate for the civil and human rights of AAPIs, immigrants, and all people of color, and continues to develop ties within international labor organizations, especially in the Asian Pacific Rim. Speaking of political education, we as AAPI people are the fastest growing population of voters in America's workforce. Since our country's founding, immigrants from all over the world have come to the U.S. in search of a better life. With more than 13.3 million eligible Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders voters nationwide, we are the fastest growing racial group in the U.S. and a powerful voting bloc. It's important for us to exercise our rights to vote, especially as our communities are threatened by racism and right-wing politics. Defeating election deniers and protecting our fundamental freedoms will require a diverse voting bloc, and the AAPI community will play a critical role in 2024. That's this year, folks. Asian Americans are often portrayed as economically and educationally successful. In reality, about 1 in 10 Asian Americans live in poverty and have the most income inequality of any major racial or ethnic group in the United States. Because you and your family and/or a family member belongs to a union, and you have job protection, pension, wage and benefits, you're better off than non-union workers. I hope when you are asked what you can do this year to help elect union-friendly candidates and AAPI-friendly candidates, you will join us and bring a friend to ensure all people have the right to form a union, be able to collectively bargain good wages and benefits, and are guaranteed a safe, enriching life. All people, no matter what they look like, where they live, how they love, or how they worship, deserve a safe, enriched future. I implore you to use your voice and vote. Talk to your friends, your family members, and colleagues about the importance of voting. There's a lot at stake for the future of our country. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me today, and let's enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Bernie.
So we will then have Tushy Gandro performance. The Tushy Gandro will perform a captivating and powerful display of the traditional Tibetan dance style, featuring intricate movement and costume that represent the strength and courage of the Tibetan people.
showcasing the rich cultural heritage of Cambodia through their music and artistry. Mr. Shampan.
Poke, titit, chop up, poke. Titit, chop up. Titit, chop up. There you go.
Representative Lee. Representative Liz Lee is a proud Hmong daughter of St. Paul East Side whose parents relocated to the United States, displaced by the Civil War in Laos. Liz was elected to the State House of Representatives in 2022 and has served on the Council's Legislative Board since 2023. Representative Liz Lee also leads the Minnesota Asian Pacific Caucus. She is fierce advocate for issues like health equity, bridging the academic achievement gap, increasing affordable housing, reinvesting in public transit, champion of the union and the labor movement. Representative Lee will be bringing the other API elective to the stage.
Hi everyone, good morning or good afternoon, pardon. I think in the middle of our remarks, Representative Kelly Her might also join us. She's on her way because there's a lot going on this morning. It is also the Congressional District 4 convention, and so there are some folks there as well. But I wanted to make sure I greet y'all. As was mentioned, I am Representative Liz Lee. I am honored, so honored to be here with all of you along with my colleagues, Representative Ethan Cha from Woodbury, who serves as the chair of our Minnesota Asian Pacific Caucus, otherwise known as the MAP Caucus. And I'm also really glad that St. Paul City Council member Hwa Jung Kim could be here with us. Earlier, we had Representative Samantha Bang from Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center, as well as St. Paul City Council member Sarah Jost. And so, just so you know, I know they all want, just to make sure you know, they all wanted to be here, but there's a lot going on this weekend. But you know, we're just so honored to be here to celebrate Asian Pacific and Native Hawaiian Heritage Month with all of you guys. I think the most important thing that I've taken away from today's celebration is that our history, our heritage, our Asian heritage and our Asian history is also very much labor history, and that was made so clear when Bonnie Burnham was elected as president of the AFL-CIO here. And I mention this because she's the first person of color, and this also means the first Asian person to ever lead the Federation. That's really important when you think about the fact that Asians have been part of labor history and American history for such a long time. I want y'all to just hold on to that because I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, about how our history is so intersectional as people who, you know, disproportionately care about service and taking care of our elders and our young people and how important that is. But I also want to thank President Gully, who I think had to step up for a bit, for just acknowledging how important it is to have a diverse union like SEIU, and also making sure that you know, we're able to organize service workers, right? Because for a very, very long time, the people who were service workers were people of color, and so you know, that also added to the impression that, you know, service work wasn't really work, right, and not worth being paid. Obviously, that's not true, and that's why it's so important to have unions like SEIU fighting for better pay, better working conditions, and benefits. And so just as a member of the legislature, I wanted to share an update on things that we've done last year in this session. I think for me and for folks here, it's very clear that all the young people here and also the adults who've shown them the way care a lot about their heritage and continuing on the rich cultural history that our ancestors gave us. And that's why we in the legislature thought it was so important to pass an ethnic studies bill, to put together a working group that would create a framework so all of Minnesota students are able to learn about themselves and their neighbors. And I talk about that because when we learn American history and labor history, names like Larry Italong and the Chinese garment workers in New York who struck for better work and better pay, or better working conditions and better pay, you know, are really often learned about. And so I mentioned that because, again, it is so important that, you know, we're having the celebration here, but not everyone gets that chance. And that's why, you know, I'm so honored to be with you guys to celebrate this month and today. The second thing I want to talk about is paid family leave. This was only possible because of the trifecta that was able to be elected in 2022. We know it's a little sticky right now, and I can't promise that we're going to solve this in this session, but I promise we are going to solve the paid leave problem, because this is actually one of those most important accomplishments of the trifecta class, and I'm not going to, you know, let these little details get in the way. We should be proud that as a state we decided it is important and valuable for our neighbors and our family members to be taken care of. That's really important, and that is something that we're going to stand by and we're going to solve. And the really last thing is, I just, before I pass the mic to my colleagues, I want to reiterate President Burnham's message that all of the accomplishments that we were able to do last year and this year is only possible because of organizers like you, people who thought it was important to talk to your friends and your neighbors and to vote. And so you probably have heard this before. This is the most important election of our lives. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, because I can't do that in my official capacity, but I'm going to tell you, go vote, go talk to your neighbors and your friends, bring them to vote with you so that the things you care about, ethnic studies, paid family leave, better pay, better transparency, all of that can be realized this November. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Representative Ethan Cha, and I am from Woodbury, 47B in East Suburbs. The list covered a lot of policy, so I won't get into the policy stuff. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey because all of you look like me. And my journey started in a refugee camp, right? So after 1975, the Vietnam War, the Secret War of Laos, my parents were displaced from Laos, and they crossed the border into Thailand, into a refugee camp. In 1961, my dad was enlisted into the secret guerrilla units for the CIA to defend, Laos and the Ho Chi Minh Trail that came into Laos, the Lima sites and stuff like that. And so I was born in 1976 in a refugee camp, and we were there until 1980 before we came to America. And we came to America because we were Christians, and we had converted to Christianity in 1975. So in 1980, the Catholic Charities sponsored us, and we arrived here in Iowa. And then shortly after, we heard there was a lot of Hmong people in St. Paul, Minnesota, so then we came to St. Paul, Minnesota in '81. So I actually grew up in the Rondo, Frogtown, and Cathedral Hill area. And I can give you the name of the street. I grew up on Laurel, Iglehart, and Dell. That's where I grew up. So those of you that grew up in that neighborhood during that time know that Tiger Jack was the guy. And I bring you back to that time because during that time when you found like 5 cents on the ground, you can go to Tiger Jack and he'll give you a pack of now-laters, right? You can't get much for 5 cents anymore, but during that time, every penny count that you found. And as refugee kids, growing up in poverty, Section 8 housing, that was me, that was my family. And that's important, right? Why is it important? Because I was a refugee kid. I didn't speak English. My parents didn't speak English. And here I am, a state legislator, making laws for the state of Minnesota, right? The odds that I had to beat and overcome to be here. Just speaking English was a challenge for me because nobody in the community spoke English in 1979, 1980. And so when I was going to school, when I was in like first grade, I was my parents' translator when we went to the hospital, when we went to public services, and when we went to my parents-teacher meeting, I was doing the translation in first grade. I'm a state legislator today, but I grew up on public assistance. We didn't have enough money because all our money went to rent. And so you know what my mom did? My mom she's a laborer. She got on the bus and she drove down to Minneapolis on the bus and she peeled potatoes so that we could have food and shoes. And that was my mom and dad in 1980s. And I think about the labor and the unions and what we stand for and the people that look like us, the challenges. I'm a Democrat, and I'll tell you why I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat because I grew up on social programs that enable me to go to public school, get public assistance, and so that I can have the right to vote. My mom went to ESL class for 3 years to learn English so she can vote, so she can cast a vote. That's what she did. That's why voting rights are so important. That's why all of you, if you can vote, you should vote, and you need to vote. And it's because of housing programs, public housing programs, that not only allowed my family, but allowed my whole community to live in McDonough homes, right? Mount Airy, Plaza, Congress, all these public housing house Hmong community refugees. And now they're housing other immigrant communities, like the Korean, the Tibetans. You know? These public programs are important. I sit on the housing for the state of Minnesota. We did $1.3 billion in investment to housing. It's because housing, at the intersection of housing, is going to be the outcome of your social class, your education, your health. Housing is a priority. You know why it's a priority? Because I grew up in a tent for the first 4 years of my life. I grew up in a tent. We got rations, surrounded. You know what a refugee camp looks like? It's a bunch of tents surrounded by barbed wires. Every day we talk about undocumented immigrants that come to America. Well, you know what undocumented immigrants look like? Was my grandparents being undocumented Chinese, because they're Hmong, they're indigenous people, they're undocumented. They come to Laos, they're undocumented immigrants into Laos. And going to Thailand, we're undocumented refugees. So in 3-4 generations of my family, we finally became a citizen of a country, and that's the United States of America. You don't take that for granted. And don't take for granted that Minnesota is the best place to live. I've lived in many places. And I'll tell you why Minnesota is the best place to live if you're a BIPOC person and if you're an immigrant or a refugee. Because you have 10 Asian Pacific Islander state legislators in the state of Minnesota. You have 3 senators and 7 House members. Outside of Hawaii, Minnesota has 10, Georgia has 11 API elected, and California only has 9. What does that mean? It means you have a voice at the table. When I grew up, there wasn't a voice at the table, but somebody spoke for me. That's why I'm here today. And today I'm speaking for those that don't have a voice. All of us do. That's why we do this work that we do. That's why it's important for you to vote. It's important for you to get involved in your community and to reach out. There's nothing that makes me happier than when you come see me at the Capitol and you make an appointment, you knock on my door, and you come down and you sit and you have a conversation with me. Those are the best times, is when I see your faces at the Capitol, because yes, I want you to come to the Capitol. It's your Capitol. It belongs to you, each and all of you. You know, I live in Woodbury. I've lived in, you know, the Bay Area where it's really expensive, Woodbury and whatnot. I've lived in the most ghetto part of Sacramento. I grew up in the ghetto. I'm not afraid to say that. I grew up in the roughest part of the neighborhoods of the cities that I live in. I'm not ashamed to say that. That's where I draw my strength from. You know? My black and brown neighbors, you know, people come into my rough neighborhood and they're afraid. And I said, you know what? You shouldn't be afraid, because we take care of each other in our neighborhoods, just like anybody else. It doesn't matter where you live, whether it's in the Rondo neighborhood, it's in Brooklyn, Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's all the same. We all care about people. That's why we do this. You know? And, you know, I'm going to move it a little forward, and I'll tell you why SCIU is important to me. Because you probably couldn't tell, but I was a caregiver. I was at SCIU. I was. And I know why this is important to the API community, because we take care of our elders. I'm the eldest son of my family. It's my duty and responsibility to take care of my mom and my dad. That's what I did. For over 10 years, I took care of my dad, I took care of my mom. My mom had triple bypass surgery, you know, heart condition. My dad had a stroke. ICU over 90 days. The doctor gave him 3 weeks to live and said, you can't take him home. He has to go to long-term care because you're not qualified to take care of your dad. That's what the head nurse said to me. Says, you're not qualified to take care of your dad. You have no training. We can't send your dad home with the equipment because you won't know how to use it. He spoke to me like I don't have an education. You know what I said to him? I'm a computer programmer. I program the stuff that you are using right now. You can tell me I can't use the system? Give me the damn manual. And you send somebody to my house. It took a whole month for them to arrange it, and they sent my dad home, and I took care of him. They gave him 3 weeks. My dad lived 3 years. Not once did he go back to the ICU. But you know what? That's what this work is about, right? Because we care about people, we care about our elders, we care about our parents. You know? And so I want to share that story with you. Because when I sit at the Capitol, I represent you, your story, and the journey you're on right now. And that's an important journey. Because it doesn't matter where you're from, what you've been through. We all arrive in the same place. And that's what matters. You know? And so I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to, represent SEIU. I'm proud to represent all of you. I'm proud of the state of Minnesota. Where, in what state, will you find 10 API legislators sitting at the Capitol making laws for everyday Minnesotans? That's opportunity. That's the American dream. You know what the American dream is? That's my American dream. To serve, like my father did. And so thanks for all being here and celebrating API month, and God bless all of you.
Awesome. Okay, I will be brief, but my name is Hwa Jung Kim. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the vice president of the St. Paul City Council. Some of you may know we elected an all-female council. Made history here in Minnesota. Thank you. But what I think is actually also more historic is that in a non-majority API city, we elected we have a majority council of API women. Sarah Jost is Bengali, I'm Korean. Mitra Jalali, our president, is also half Korean and Iranian. And of course, Nelsie Yang is Hmong. So in a city that talks about representation of our communities, it feels like St. Paul's doing a pretty darn good job. I'm very proud to be Korean and to represent a lot of folks, a lot of workers in my ward. On the last day of before the election, I knocked an IBEW member, a teacher, I knocked a carpenter, and I'm really proud to have knocked an SEIU worker, right? The day before election day, and I'm also very, very proud to have carried that endorsement into the election and to win with SEIU's endorsement. So thank you so much for the support. And Korea has a very long history of workers' rights. One of our largest one was actually led by Korean women. Samil, we celebrate it every year, March, but it was one of the largest workers' revolutions in Korea that helped establish stronger safety measures for folks that are working. I'd like to say better pay, but this was like centuries ago. But it's within our blood. This year's election is really important. I'm going to echo that. It's no different than any other year. But when I look out here, I see all of us. Our ancestors have seen the same fight. And so when you go and vote and talk about what's important to you and why you're turning out to vote this year, I really hope that you draw on the strength of your ancestors and think that we've been here before, we have fought this fight before, we've been on this path before, and with solidarity with all of our communities, we can deliver a really strong win for Minnesota. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you all for being here and celebrating API Month.
Left button. Yeah. Well, I'll do this one.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm State Representative Kali Vang Her, and I'm a State Representative in St. Paul. Raise your hand if you were born in this country. Okay, and how many people came as immigrants to this country? Okay, and then how many came as refugees to this country? I did, I came as a refugee. Yeah, what country did you come from? Tibet? Okay, who else raised their hand as a refugee? Anybody else? Where did you come from? Vietnam, okay. I was born in Laos, and I came to this country as a refugee when I was 4 years old. And I don't think that I could have ever dreamt to have been here today, because when I was growing up, I don't know how many of you share similar stories I do, but My family grew up, I was poor, and my parents were working 2 jobs, and we all had to take care of my younger siblings because I'm the second of 6 kids. And my parents worked 2 jobs, and my parents sometimes worked labor jobs, and sometimes my parents didn't have jobs, and sometimes they did jobs where they didn't have any benefits. I remember my sister, I'm 50 now, my sister's 51, and she was reading through old letters from when we were 17 and 18, because back then there was no phones, no internet, you like wrote letters to each other. And she read a letter that she sent it to me, and it said, because I have kidney disease, so I was really young, I was 17 when I got a kidney disease. And the letter said, "Don't worry about me." I'm writing to my sister now, she's at college, she's the first in our family to go to college, and I'm at home, and I said, "Don't worry about me. I know we don't have insurance right now, but we might get insurance when Dad gets a job in January. Then I'll go to the doctor then, and then we'll see what's wrong with my condition." And it turned out I had a kidney disease. And I think about like what my family went through and the struggles that we had and how hard we worked and what we're all doing today. And I have 6 siblings, and all of them are engineers, and I was the one who was not smart, so I became a politician. And I ended up working in business, in investments and finance. And and the truth is that I think about the struggles that we went through, and that's why I do the work that I do today. I carried the EL bill to double the funding for English language learners that passed last year. We should clap for that, because there's a lot of us that I was an EL student growing up. I carried the bill that eliminated the pay history question, and what that pay history question does is it shows us that Black and brown people make less money than white men doing the same jobs with the same education. And I think for anybody who's in here, so Hmong women, I'm a Hmong woman, we make 55 cents on the dollar. So white women make 80 cents on the dollar, Asian women sort of similarly, but when you break that down even further, Hmong women make 55 cents on the dollar, and Somali women make 45 cents on the dollar. My bill says that you can't discriminate against us by locking us into lower pay, so you can't ask what I made at my last job, because they started me lower at that job anyways. And so women and people of color, in a lifetime, we lose out of millions of dollars of income. And so those are the types of bills that I carry because it matters to me. And this year I'm the chief author of the ERA bill, which is the Equal Rights Amendment. And that means that we want to codify all of our rights, because right now men and women are not equal in our Constitution in Minnesota here. And that if you want to have reproductive health care, you can't have access to that because we're just using case law, and anybody can take that away from us. We see the struggles across the country in which people are not being able to access reproductive health care, abortions, the things that they need. We're seeing where our families, where we have individuals who might want to, having issues around gender and gender identity, and that they want to transition, that many states have outlawed that. Well, my ERA bill would say that we would protect people's rights and their ability to do that. And so it's so important to me that we make sure that we protect all of our rights, regardless of how we look, how we show up, how we got here, that all of our rights matter. And so my history of who I am as a woman, as a person of color, as a refugee, that informs who I am and why this work matters so much. And that every single day you are all doing the work you need to do to take care of families, to ensure that people who are in need have care. And so then you're doing that so I can do this, so I can ensure that we protect your rights, that everybody has paid family leave, that everybody has equal pay, that everybody has benefits at their jobs, that's my job. And thank you so much for giving us the voice to do that. Thank you so much for lifting us up, because we couldn't do this without all of you. I think people think our jobs are very glamorous, but the truth is our job only matters because of you. It is because of your voice, and you empower us to go fight for you and to say these are the things that we want. And so keep sharing your voice, keep doing this work with us. We need you pushing from the outside and us pushing from the inside so that we can dismantle systems that have kept Black and brown people at lower pays, and keeping us from being able to generate wealth so that we can pass that wealth on, keeping us from being able to access equitable health care and education, that we can do that work. And so I just want to say thank you for being here, for celebrating today. All of us, regardless of which kind of Asian we are celebrating today, or our Black and brown brothers and sisters, that our liberation is tied together. And it's within that liberation that we will be able to bring all of us up to have the lives that we dreamed and our ancestors dreamed for us. So thank you so much for being here.
We'll take a quick group photo with the representative. Let's hear it for them. Russia. I'm getting all the electeds over there.
Yeah, somebody come between us and so you know. Yeah, yeah. Let's, should we do 2 lines or just one, or is this one is good?
Yeah, I'll get mine.
They didn't dress nice today. I was at a convention.
Thank you, thank you. Then we'll pass it on to them. See.
Thank you all.
Next up, we have Charlotte Yan Ming Lee, who will be playing Zong Wing Kao, Song of the Taoist Immortal. The story originated from the folk of the Ming Dynasty, and the song was composed around 10 years after the Kangxi reign in the Qing Dynasty. The piece focuses on learning the mutual response of sun yin and pressed tone and consonant tones, while emphasizing the response of different harmonies. Charlotte Yang Ming Lee.
I'm sorry. 这来个。
Next, we have the Zone Dance Group, the local Tibetan youth who are part of the Student for Free Tibet. They will be performing a modern Tibetan dance and a song from the Amdo region of occupied Tibet. Hello.
That was so good. Thank you, Soul.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. all the performers. And thank you to all of you, the audience. Thank you for joining us to celebrate and experience a beautiful display of Asian American culture. We hope you enjoyed the performances and gained a deeper appreciation for the traditions and art forms showcased here. It is through events like this that we can come together, learn from one another, and celebrate our rich cultural backgrounds. And then at this time, I would like to invite Jamie, our president, to award the certificates to all performers, as well as Joanna.
So we'll do this. Jamie's not here. We have all the representatives
Oh, yes.
come up.
Yes.
Do this. Let's go.
Yes, all the representatives.
All of you.
How are you doing? Good. Yeah.
You all decide who wants to give one.
Oh, okay.
So the first one's going to go to Watanat Dance Troupe. Can I have Gabriella Soar come up, please?
Okay, the first one is always confusing.
Can I have Amelia Dong Hương?
Amelia?
Eliana Dao Hương? Everly Van? Liliana Num? Adia Strouder? Mr. Champen? Charlotte Yan Ming Lee? Tokum Gusi Kantrup?
We'll do a group photo. Mr. Chairman, this is how family works, right? We just improvise and do things. We'll do this round of photos. Mr. Chairman.
Do you want us to like?
Yeah, let's squeeze in.
So that we can. I'm pretty short, so I'll get it. Yeah. Woo! Look at us.
All right, up here. Thank you, thank you. Oh, wait, oh, sorry.
Oh, the official photographer.
The official. Moms, aunties, you got the photos?
Yeah, everybody comes.
Dads too. Oh.
Yeah.
Galek Namgal? Lamo Toma? Tenzin London? Namgal Wusa? Kelsing Nima? Dawa Tinsri? Ogyen Chosom. Zenden Eugen. Eugen. Sorry, Eugen. Chemi Repton.
Oh, it's maybe. Okay, group photo, please. Right here. Right here. Yeah. This squeeze in. Hold it. This yay!
We were 6 Rangers, Tibetan Defender of the Faith Volunteer Army, which was later shortened to Tokam Chishigandu. The name Tokam Chishigandu, which means in Tibetan, Chu means water, Shi means 4, Kal means range, and Tru means 6. Despite facing immense challenges, Chishigandu remained steadfast in their mission. Under the leadership of General Anukombatashi, they drafted military laws and received support from the United States CIA to resist Chinese aggression. In 1959, Chishigandu played a crucial role in assisting His Holiness the Dalai Lama's escape to India, ultimately surrendering their weapons to the Indian government. Despite the cessation of guerrilla operation in 1974, their legacy of bravery and resilience continued to inspire generation. Today, Chishigandu is currently based in Dharamsala, India, and is the oldest non-governmental organization of Tibet. It has over 40 chapters throughout the world, including New York, Denver, Minnesota, to name a few in the United States. It still stands to fight for complete independence of Tibet against the PRC, China, and also to preserve culture and traditions of Tibet. One of the main popular culture which we are going to perform today is called Gorshe, which in translation is called Circle of Dance. The Gorshe is traditional Tibetan dance deeply rooted in Tibetan culture and spirituality. The dance forms hold significant cultural and religious importance, often performed during festivals, celebration, and religious ceremonies. Participants form a circle, holding hands, and moving in a rhythmic circular motion symbolizing unity, harmony, and nature of life. The movements are accompanied by traditional Tibetan music, including chanting, drumming, and cymbals, creating a mesmerizing and spiritual atmosphere. The circle dance embodies the rich cultural heritage of Tibet, serving as a means of preservation tradition, fostering community bonds, and expressing reverence for the divine. Though its graceful movement and symbolic significance, the circle dance of Tibet continues to be cherished and celebrated as a core part of Tibetan identity and spirituality. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank filmmaker Shepin Kemsar as well to digitalize the real story of Chishigandu, as it serves a testament to the unwavering determination of the Tibetan people in the face of adherence. It is a reminder of the power of courage, unity, and enduring quest for freedom. Free Tibet. Thank you.
Hi. Okay. So, first of all, lastly, I would like to thank the Minnesota Nurse Association for letting us use the space here, and we have a table to register to vote if nobody, or if you guys haven't registered to vote yet. And I think we are gonna go and head out.
So,
what he talked about the Gorshe, we're going to go outside in the parking lot.
Yes.
And there are also vendors in the Union Hall. These are API small businesses. Please support them. They've come in, they've handmade stuff. It's in the Union Hall. But let's go from the back. The parking lot is where we'll have the Gorshe.
Yes, let's go dance.
Thank you. Thank you.